Do you know what? You've already stood with your legs
Yeah,
apart because you. Oh my
bit,
gosh, that's.
Probably should just take these off, but it would work.
I don't think that's good, but that's good. That's like
Helps a little bit,
you're a
yeah.
pro. Well, hello everyone. I'm very happy to say that I'm here with George Dockrell, who's been an integral part of Ireland's success over the past few years, and World Cup's going pretty well for you so far.
Yeah, it's been amazing couple of weeks. You know, the results we've had, I think, and the way we've done it as well, we're very pleased with how things have gone. You know, World Cup in Australia is a pretty special place to do it, and to do it on the biggest stage, especially with the win last night against England, is it's pretty special.
As someone who's been around this team for a long time and kind of seen it all, I mean, it's nearly 13 years since you made your debut for Ireland. How special was that win against England? What did that mean to you?
Yeah, I think, look, where our T20 cricket's been and where we want it to be, I think that last night kind of shows how far we've come, and even probably in the last 12 months. You know, T20 cricket is something we haven't had as much success as we would have liked over the last while, but I think we've definitely given it a little bit more attention and focus. And I think now we're kind of playing the kind of cricket whereby we're doing it more often against teams and put ourselves in a position to win against, you know, those bigger teams.
How do you feel about the rest of the tournament so far? Because I know there's still a lot of people who tend to think of some countries as, you know, oh, they're in here, they've managed to get through, but they're never going to knock off the big teams. You've knocked off England. So how does that make you feel when you perhaps look at teams like New Zealand and Australia?
Yeah, look, it's wonderful for us to be able to come up against any team in the world now and feel that if we, you know, play the right cricket, do what we want to do, that we can win the game. You know, knockout cricket is incredibly exciting because it's not just like the series. I think that you can sometimes play where, you know, there's less pressure, I think, on the result, which gives players to play with a little bit more freedom. And we've seen it now in the, you know, the early group stages where some fantastic results across all the teams. And I think it's very tough going in game by game now to predict who is going to win. And for us, obviously, look, it's been fantastic so far and gives us real hope going into the final games.
Especially with this weather here, I mean, that must give you a bit of an advantage, surely.
Yeah, home from home is nice. Keep it on the covers, keep the pitch on the covers for a few days and help our seamers out a little bit. But yeah, weather's been a bit mad since we've arrived, but we're kind of used to it now. We've done 3 or 4 cities and had the same, so I think we're well suited to it.
On behalf of Australia, I officially apologise for the weather. But look, I was thinking about your career. You have probably got one of the most interesting careers of any professional cricketer, because you've had these really distinct phases of your career. Because many people might not know, you actually started off when you were a kid bowling seam, is that right?
Yeah, so I was a left arm seamer who batted a bit up top of the order. And when I was about 13, Brian O'Rourke, one of our coaches at underage level, said, look, I don't think there's much future there, so got me in a bowl spin, having seen me do a bit of tennis ball cricket in the car park at an underage tournament. So that worked out pretty well, and I think it was maybe 3 years later I was pushing into the Ireland A team bowling left arm spin. So look, I was lucky with how things worked. I was kind of thrown into the national team at a very young age, probably before I even realised what was going on, and I've been so lucky to kind of stay in and around the team since then.
But that was what your main calling card, I guess, was for a long time. But then you went through a bit of a phase, I think at Somerset, where you were struggling to get into the team, and sort of went away. And now your calling card is as a batting all-rounder, which, yeah, that's quite unusual. What happened in there? How did you end up changing so much?
Yeah, look, I probably didn't, you know, improve as I would have liked personally with my left arm spin. You know, I was good at what I did, and I tried to make a few technical changes when I was a bit younger to try and get better, and potentially lost a few of those things that were working for me. Again, a lot of it was trying to spin the ball a bit more, and I never quite seemed to be able to make that work. So I guess Somerset was fantastic for me in the fact that I went over there and I got fitter and I got stronger, and I worked on my fielding and my batting and basically everything that was at a very low level when I was 17. Got that all up to a place where I was pretty happy. But as I said, the bowling probably never quite kicked on as I would have liked, which was pretty disappointing when I was a bit younger. But again, I kind of stayed in around the system enough that gave myself a chance with the bat, and 6-7 years later I was put my hand up a little bit more here and there, and you know, eventually it took probably a year and a half ago. Graham Ford had a pretty frank conversation with me where he said, look, I don't feel like you're offering much anymore as a frontline spinner, but something special with your batting and I want to work with you on that. So once we kind of made that switch and I gave it a little bit more attention, had a bit of success quite quickly with it, and was able to kind of come back into the team as more of a batter. You know, I'm still bowling, still chipping in, as I was able to do last night where I can. But yeah, it's been pretty unique. But I'd say the last 12 months for me, and a little bit beyond that, are probably the most rewarding of my career because of the transition I made, and probably having to work a little bit harder for this batting role than I might have done when I was 17 and kind of thrown in.
Yeah, well, was that hard though? Were they, I guess, home truths? Was it difficult to hear some of those? And did you think that perhaps your career might be slipping away?
Yeah, look, I was you know, hoping that I would have made bigger strides in my early 20s with my left arm spin. It wasn't for lack of effort, and again, I worked with so many different coaches along the way to try and get me there. But again, I suppose I did what I did, and even looking back on what I did in those early years, you know, I still made a contribution that I'm proud of to Irish cricket and to lots of games along the way. But again, look, the game's also changed. Since that time, you know, 2010, I remember when I look back at even the World Cup in 2011, and I look at me bowling 48 mile an hour left arm spin, and people just knocking it round, trying to go 3 and over. 4 and over, you know, it's amazing to see how much the game has changed now. It's a lot more aggressive, which meant that, you know, I had to change. You know, maybe doing what I was doing when I was 18 wasn't going to work for much longer anyway. So, yeah, the game's, you know, constantly changing, and again, been trying to evolve with it, and it's quite exciting to be here, you know, 12, 13 years later, looking at the kind of cricket we're now playing as a team, and being a part of that as well, which is so exciting.
And you're still only 30, so I think it's fair to say maybe we can expect in a couple of years you'll be opening the batting left-handed and maybe bowling a bit of right arm wrist spin?
Yeah, something, anything. I'll keep changing, keep pivoting as much as I can. Again, look, I'm probably enjoying my cricket as much as I ever have the last while. It's been so good having Heinrich on board and a bit of a change in I suppose our approach as a group, and I'm loving cricket again, which is so good. So again, look, I'm always happy to play any role, whatever that is. Keep doing whatever I can to get in the team and then try and contribute to wins as well. So yeah, definitely that right arm seam I'll keep working on.
Great. Okay, just remember that's an exclusive. You can come back to this video when he does change again and realise that you saw it here first. You have seen everything really in Irish cricket the past 13 years, because people talk about golden generation that gets bandied about a lot, and then now this generation that's carving its own way. You've sort of crossed over on that. What has stood out to you about this generation now, coming in on the back of what that previous generation, which you were also a part of, managed to achieve?
Yeah, it's been amazing to have witnessed, you know, the careers of the, you know, William Porterfields and Ed Joyces and all those who paved the way, I suppose, for the future, and what they've been able to kick on from now, and you know, seeing how we do things slightly differently now. I think the fixtures that we get now are absolutely superb. We're playing a lot of international cricket. A lot of the time that is the kind of finishing school for players, and they learn on their feet and learn very quickly. But it's obviously a landscape now that's shown that we can produce cricketers in that sense. You know, you look at the likes of Josh Little, who's been so exciting over the last year, Harry Tector, Curtis Camphor, you know, quite young guys coming into the group and hitting the ground running straight away. Like, it's an incredibly exciting time for Irish cricket. To have that as well, and I know there's a lot of areas we still need to work on within Irish cricket to keep, you know, working out how do we keep producing players. But I think we've shown, you know, with that fixture list and testing ourselves against the best in the world, that we can get better and we can produce good cricketers as well. Yeah,
well, I mean, it's been a terrific tournament for you so far, and look forward. I said to someone else the other day, my last name is Farrell, so you can always count on a bit of support from me. But I think the big question that everybody wants to know is, what do you think of Mark Adair's moustache? Because he was caught on this camera giving it a special little twirly groom the other day.
Yeah.
What do you think? Can we expect to see one?
I know he rates it. I don't think it's for me. I think I'm struggling on that. Maybe 10 years time when I'm bowling seam, maybe then I'll finally have grown my first moustache. But no, that's good. I think it does suit him. So yeah, it seems to work.
Oh, guys, I like this. I can't wait till we see a Dennis Lilly style moustache on George Dockrell bowling.
Right arm seam.
Right arm seam, right arm seam, let's say a right arm seam, and batting left-handed in a few years' time. Thanks, George.
Cheers.